Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Lukeness Monster, and today we're going to be reviewing the Star Wars The Black Series Phase 2 Clone Trooper. Now, the Phase 2 Clone Trooper is a part of the Clone Wars subline of the Black Series. Looking at the box art, we have this amazing mural artwork here. One big problem, though, that a lot of people pointed out is he's actually holding an E11, which is the Stormtrooper blaster, not the DC-15 clone blaster. So really weird there that they used the wrong gun in the box art, but the box art on Black Series figures are rarely accurate. Anyway, it is number 14 in the Clone Wars line. You can go ahead and pause and read the bio if you would like. We do have this 3D rendering here on the back. Really wish they would not do the 3D renders, but this thing I do really like. We have the nice diagram of all the accessories. This is definitely my favorite part of plastic-free packaging, but we don't have to worry about that much more because plastic-free is now gone. Anyway, let's go ahead, crack this guy open, and take a close look at everything this figure has to offer. So we have the Clone Trooper out of the box, and I gotta say, this guy is phenomenal. He does use the brand new 2023 clone body, which is a just slight update of the original 2021, so really nice figure, and it's just the plain white Phase 2 version. This is the first single release Phase 2 we've gotten. We had a 4-pack version back on that original clone body, but this one is a nice single release, which is going to be great for army building your standard plain white Phase 2 Clone Trooper. So let's go ahead, get him off of the spinny stand, and take a closer look. One thing about this figure that I really like is they started including both of the blasters again for the Clone Trooper. So this one does have both the DC, I want to say DC-17, DC-15 rifle. I'm not really sure the number, unfortunately, but we have the rifle as well as the normal blaster, and I'm really glad they started including these again. They started back when the 2020 clone came out, and then they stopped for a while, and now it's back, which is really nice. And this one also does have a removable helmet, which we will get into in just a second, but overall, I'm really loving how this guy looks. He does have a brand new helmet. This one is a slightly smaller helmet than the previous 2020 mold. Not significant, but it is slightly smaller, and it is a little bit more realistic, while the other one is still a animated look. Now, don't get me wrong, this one is definitely a Mod Podge. It's definitely still has some animated aspects, but it is far more realistic than some of the previous molds we've gotten, and it's looking really good. And looking at the face here underneath the helmet, it's interesting. That's all I can say. I really like the Tamora Morrison head sculpts they've been doing. They've been looking great, and this one is definitely no exception, but this one, there's something about it, and it's I already know what it is. It's the 5 o'clock shadow that they added. It just doesn't look good as a 5 o'clock shadow, and so because of that, it almost looks like his face is just like shaded weird almost. On the other clone that we did have on the 2023 body here, they did not add the 5 o'clock shadow, and the face looked great, but the one that they added here, it just doesn't look good. So yeah, really wish they wouldn't have done that. But from the nose up, the face looks great. I think the photo row looks pretty dang good. Again, it's just that 5 o'clock shadow that does not look great. So this one is definitely one that I'm probably going to keep helmeted. And just for the comparison there, you can see the difference. Skin tone is exactly the same. I believe the scratches and nicks on the forehead are exactly the same. The only difference is the one on the left has the 5 o'clock shadow, the one on the right doesn't. And as you can see, this one does look far better. So I'm not going to go super in-depth with articulation because we've seen this body for the most part a ton of times. There's only a few slight differences on this updated 2023 version, so that's what we'll go over. And so for starters, the main difference on this guy is the chest piece. They moved to this loose, free-floating chest piece that is actually a rubber/hard plastic overlay compared to the previous Clone Trooper molds that had just a solid torso. It was not an overlay, and I think this is a big improvement. This is more reminiscent of the 2020 Stormtrooper, and I think this is definitely what the Black Series needed, and it really solidifies this guy as the best clone mold we've ever gotten in the line. And with that, they also added the O-ring shoulder pads. So now, the shoulder pads are no longer connected to the bicep, they are actually connected inside the shoulder pad. And this is great because you can actually turn this arm all the way around, which is nice, or you can always just keep it in place. And so, the shoulder pad still sits on the top of the shoulder rather than going all the way to the back, which is a little bit more realistic to what a real shoulder pad in real life would do. So I like the ability that it is kind of free floating and it doesn't have to stay connected to that bicep. And it also fixes the T-pose problem where the shoulder pad easily fits on top of the arm. Before, you would have to like pick it up and put it over the I guess shoulder strap here, and because of that it would cause the shoulder pad to like bend and crease, and so this is a great fix for that. Another fix they added on this new 2023 mold is they added a little bit of a groove on the inside of the bicep here to where whenever you go and you crunch the elbow, it doesn't pinch that elbow strap. And so you're not going to run into the problem of this pinching and potentially breaking because there is, like I said, a little groove there where that shoulder strap can just slide right under. Another really, really big thing that I'm glad they did is they gave him two trigger fingers with the vertical hinges on both hands. So this is great for dual wielding pistol characters. Oh wait, no, they didn't give him. That's interesting. Okay, so I actually lied. On the Commander Oppo figure, they gave him two trigger fingers. But on this one, they gave him the horizontal trigger finger, which is weird. So I do like they included the trigger finger on the left hand, but they didn't give him the vertical hinge like Oppo, because Oppo has both vertical hinges, whereas in this one has the horizontal hinge. So quite interesting there. This is the first time I even realized that. But it is really nice to know that they have the horizontal hinge as an option as well as the vertical hinge, but I do really appreciate the trigger finger on both. One that I actually did just pass over is now that these shoulder pads are free floating, they added a bicep swivel, which is not there before, so nice addition of articulation there. Obviously there is the butterfly joints, but that is nothing new. And then one of the biggest changes, they just stopped gluing the knee pad to the thigh. And so when you bend the knee pad is actually on the knee. Before, it would slide up and it would be stuck like this. And so it would be stuck to the thigh rather than the knee, and it would not look good. So now this is free floating, and you can really put it anywhere you want. You can put it at the knee, back on the shin, at the top of the thigh if that's how you like it. So that is a really, really big change, and it allows for some better, more dynamic poses to look really, really good. First up for comparisons, we do have the other 2023 clone body on the left being Commander Oppo, and on the right we have the original Phase 2 Clone Trooper. And as you can see how bad that original Phase 2 is, it is on the original 2015 clone body, and that one is really, really bad. So as you can see, it does have a lot of problems with the leg warping as well as the height. It's just much smaller. Now that might be due to the leg warping, but even just holding the blaster, he looks really, really ridiculous. So as you can see, all the upgrades made to this new clone body is well needed. And yeah, this one was, the old one was actually exclusive to a 4-pack too, so you couldn't really army build it without buying 27, like $100 4-packs. So the fact that you can actually get this one as a single release now is a huge bonus, and it's going to be great for army building. And here you can definitely see the difference between the more realistic look and the more animated look. And I gotta say, between the two, I'm really digging that animated look over the more realistic. Now, this one is definitely a merge between realistic and animated. There are some realistic aspects, there are some animated aspects, but between the two right here, I really do like that more animated look. Next up, we do have a few of the other 2020 clone body clones. So on the left, we have the Camino clone, and on the right, we have the Imperial clone Shock Trooper with the pauldron removed, so it's just a standard Shock Trooper. And they're both looking really dang good as well. As you can see, there is some differences between that 2020 mold and the brand new 2023 mold, but they still look great together, and I think this is definitely where you can see the size difference between the helmets and how this one is the more animated look and this one is the more realistic look. Now, they are very similar, but there are slight differences. Next up, we have Obi-Wan on the right and the 2/12th clone on the left. And I gotta say, I think the 2/12th clone definitely has a little bit of height on the new 2021. Now, that might just because the legs are closer together, so he stands a little higher, but it's definitely noticeable. And just the way that 2020 mold looks, it almost looks leaner and more that animated stylistic look. So I'm definitely digging the 2023 mold just a little bit more because it looks a little beefier and just a little bit more realistic in general. But like I said, I am excited to have this one in the line because it's going to be great for army building. These plain white Phase 2 clones are going to look good with any Jedi General or any other clone battalion like the 212th, or up next, the 501st with Anakin on the left and Ahsoka on the right. Really, really loving how all three of these guys look together. And like I said before, this Phase 2 clone is going to look good with pretty much any Jedi or clone you put it next to, so really happy with this one. Now this one is what I thought was pretty cool, is I was able to actually get this guy in a running pose, just straight balancing, no like stands or anything like that. He's just balancing on the ground, and he looks really good in this running pose, so that's quite interesting. I might be able to do that with the 2020 mold, but I'm not quite sure, but this guy does look great doing it. So yeah, overall, I really do like this figure. Only complaint is that 5 o'clock shadow on the face. It really ruins the removable helmet for this guy. So I think I'm going to give him a 4.5 out of 5. Other than that, he is a great figure with a ton of amazing upgrades that were really, really necessary for this figure. So overall, really, really happy with how he came out. And I do recommend this to any Clone Wars fans, prequel fans, or fans looking for a great army builder. So if you did enjoy, go down, hit the like button, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video.